Hey, Kirk. Okay, so you can hear me good and you can see me fine?
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to start our slideshow. And in this lesson, we're going to be discussing the processes water takes as it moves around the earth in the water cycle. So the water cycle is important to human life because it delivers fresh water all over the world. Most of the water on earth is located in the oceans. So those are too salty for humans to use. So we need the water cycle to help distribute fresh water for us to use. And the three main steps of the water cycle that we're going to focus on is evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. So here are the steps of the water cycle. Evaporation is the process by which water is converted from its liquid state to the gaseous state, also known as water vapor. Condensation is the process by which water vapor is changed back into liquid water. Precipitation is the water that falls from the atmosphere in the form of rain, sleet, snow, hail, or freezing rain. Now, the hydrologic cycle, this is a fancy word for the water cycle, and evaporation is our first step. You can see it right here. And this is where the water leaves the Earth's surface and enters the atmosphere as a gas. Evaporation is a purifying process. One of the ways you can purify seawater is to heat it so it evaporates and then collect the steam. That steam is pure water. And getting it back to liquid requires our next phase of the water cycle, condensation. So condensation is really important to our weather and climate because it is what's responsible for cloud formation. Without clouds, we cannot have precipitation. And clouds are required for precipitation because the raindrops are the drops of the clouds that have condensed enough water to begin falling. So the cloud particles do not have enough mass to fall, but as condensation continues to add water to those particles, gravity will eventually pull them towards the earth as precipitation, or raindrops. So now we're going to watch this little video of the water cycle.
Hey, I'm in here. I'm in this giant freezer. Now, let's see what happens when I come outside where you are. See, the surface of my bubble head of science turns cloudy. That's because water vapor, which was floating around in the air, sticks to the cold surface in little liquid water droplets. Now, this process, this effect, this thing that happens is called condensation. And it's the same thing that happens to people who wear glasses when they come in after being outside on a cold day. It's where clouds come from. Where'd you guys go? Oh, funny. Oh, very funny. Anyway, condensation is sort of the opposite of evaporation. Instead of liquid water gaining energy and becoming a vapor, water vapor loses energy and becomes a liquid. Little tiny droplets that stick to cold surfaces. It's a very important thing about condensation. Water vapor needs a place to stick in order for condensation to happen.
Look at the glass next time you drink your milk. Does it seem to sweat? Well, the glass isn't really sweating, of course, but it is wet. It's just the water vapor in the nearby air being condensed.
When clouds form, water vapor turns into tiny liquid water drops. But in order for that to happen, the water has to have some place to stick. It has to have something to stick to. So take a look at this. This is our big glass jug cloud apparatus of science. And we're going to make a cloud in here. First, we'll add a little water. This will be the water that will form our cloud. Just swirling it around a little. Now, using this pump, we'll pressurize the big glass jug. Then when I pull this rubber stopper off, the air in the jug will expand. And that's when a cloud should form. 3, 2, 1! See, nothing happened. That's because the water vapor didn't have anything to stick to. So what we're going to do is add some dust. Just a tiny amount of dust. And to make the dust, we'll use the smoke from these two matches. It's all the dust we need to form a cloud. Now watch. We'll pressurize it again. Pull it off. the air in the jug expands. And when it expands, it cools off. The same thing happens to air masses when they get blown around by the wind and pushed up high into the sky. 3, 2, 1. See? It's a cloud. It's the water cycle. It's science.
Okay, so that was pretty cool. Now we're going to do 2 activities. Our first activity is going to require the cotton balls that we have set out and the little cup with the light blue water. So there's just a little bit of water. And it's the light blue one, not the dark blue one. Okay, and then you're just going to grab a couple of your cotton balls and you're going to drop it into the water. And you're going to see those cotton balls soak up that water. And this just shows you the absorption, which is basically condensation. That's how it works. The clouds just get all that evaporation. Now for our next little activity, we are going to take that cup that is filled with water, about 75% of the way, and you're going to get that can of shaving cream. The shaving cream is going to be our clouds. This water is supposed to be the sky. So let's see. Try not to make too much of a mess. You might have to give it a little shake. A little trouble. Okay, good job. And then you're going to slowly drop this water into it. And remember that with the precipitation, it has to get heavier and heavier, and then the gravity will eventually pull down the water, and it'll eventually seep down. And that is how rain works. I think it's kind of... Oh, here we go. But you can see it in person. It probably doesn't translate very well on camera. But there's our rain. It's coming down. Oh, yours is really good. Mine's
Good work.
yeah. It's pretty neat. Okay, and this is a cloud in a bottle video class. I was going to get this, but we weren't able to get it to class in time, so we'll just have to do that on another day. But this is just a little video of how it works. It's just like a bike pump, and it's basically the same thing that our little science guide did. Now, the lesson is almost over. I'm just going to need you to kind of go over this and make sure that you know what you need to know. So, Kirk, what process is going on right here? What's happening?
Looks like evaporation.
That is right. And then what process is going on right here?
Condensation.
And then right here?
Precipitation.
That is right. Good job. And then here, tell me what the water cycle is about.
The water cycle is about distributing fresh water over the world.
That is right. Now, we're just going to read these definitions, and you are going to tell me which goes with which. So, when the sun heats up water in the rivers or lakes or the ocean, and it turns it into vapor or steam, what process is that called?
Evaporation.
Good job. So when there's so much water that has condensed in the air that it can't hold it anymore, the clouds get heavy and water falls back to the earth in the form of rain. What process is that?
Precipitation.
Yes. And then when water vapor in the air gets cold and changes back into liquid, forming clouds, what is that?
Condensation.
Perfect. Okay, well, I think you have a really good grasp on all this. Thanks for participating, and I will see you in class.
All right.
And I will just end this video.